Nestled amidst emerald hills and whispering willows lay the enchanting village of Reverie, a place where life moved at the pace of a gentle stream, where laughter echoed through cobblestone streets and the scent of freshly baked bread lingered in the air, creating a sense of timeless joy. Reverie held a secret, woven into its very essence, a magic that whispered through the dreams and aspirations of its inhabitants.
At the heart of this enchantment was me, Anya, a young woman with eyes that sparkled like 1,000 stars and a touch that soothed the soul, bringing peace to all.
Anya possessed a rare and wondrous gift, the extraordinary ability to weave dreams. Anya's days were filled with the vibrant hues of the dreams she touched, each one more beautiful than the last. She could mend a broken heart with a whisper of hope woven into a peaceful slumber, bringing solace to the weary. She could inspire creativity with a splash of vibrant color in an artist's midnight vision, sparking new ideas. She was the village's protector and its muse, guiding them through darkness and igniting the fire of their aspirations. Her power was a source of comfort, a beacon of hope in the intricate tapestry of their lives. Anya had always known she was different. From the earliest days of her childhood, there was a sense of otherworldliness that surrounded her, a feeling that she was connected to something far beyond the ordinary. As a child, her dreams were unusually vivid, overflowing with colors and sounds that seemed more real than reality itself. These dreams were not just figments of her imagination, they were living, breathing worlds that she could explore and interact with. She could reach out and touch them, mold them, even share them with others. It was as if she held the keys to a hidden realm, a place where the boundaries of reality and fantasy blurred.
At first, it was an exhilarating secret, a world of wonder that belonged only to me. I reveled in the magic, the beauty, the endless possibilities that my dreams offered. But as I grew older, my abilities manifested in ways that were impossible to ignore. The dreams began to spill over into my waking life, and I realized that my gift was not just a private amusement, but a powerful force that could affect the world around me.
She discovered she could ease her younger brother's nightmares by weaving threads of light into his troubled sleep. It was a delicate process, one that required both skill and compassion, but the relief on his face made it all worthwhile. She could inspire her childhood friend, a budding musician, with melodies whispered into his dreams. These melodies would come to him as if by magic, filling his mind with inspiration and creativity. Her powers, once a source of private amusement, became a responsibility she couldn't escape. The weight of her gift began to press down on her, and she realized that she had a duty to use her abilities for the greater good, a calling that both fascinated and terrified her. The potential for both great good and great harm was ever present, and she knew that she had to tread carefully. The villagers, initially wary of her abilities, soon learned to accept and even revere them. They saw in her a beacon of hope, someone who could bring light to their darkest moments. They came to her with their troubles, their fears, their hopes. Each person brought a unique story, a unique need, and Anya listened with an open heart. And Anya, with a heart full of empathy and a touch that could soothe the most troubled soul, used her gift to bring them solace, inspiration, and healing. She became a healer, a guide, a source of comfort for those in need. She became their Dreamweaver, a title whispered with reverence and gratitude. It was a role that she embraced with both pride and humility, knowing that she had the power to make a difference in their lives.
But the burden of my gift weighed heavily on me. The constant demands, the endless stream of people seeking help, it all took a toll on my spirit. The knowledge that I held the power to manipulate the very fabric of their dreams, to influence their thoughts and emotions, filled me with a sense of unease. I worried about the ethical implications, the potential for misuse, and the responsibility that came with such power. I guarded my powers carefully, aware of the fine line I walked between light and shadow. It was a constant balancing act, one that required vigilance and self-awareness.
The responsibility of being the Dreamweaver, the guardian of their hopes and dreams, was a mantle she wore with both pride and trepidation. She knew that her gift was both a blessing and a curse, a source of joy and a source of sorrow. But in the end, she chose to embrace it, to use it for the greater good, and to find peace in the knowledge that she was making a difference in the world. One crisp autumn evening, the air was filled with the scent of fallen leaves and the promise of change. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that danced with the wind. A chill wind swept through Reverie, rustling the leaves and whispering secrets of the night. The skies darkened, painting the village in hues of twilight. carrying with it a darkness that sent shivers down Anya's spine. The wind seemed to carry an unspoken warning. She wrapped her shawl tighter around her, trying to ward off the creeping cold. The dreams she touched that night were different, unlike any she had encountered before. They were not the usual whimsical fantasies or fleeting nightmares. These dreams were tainted with a coldness that felt alien and unsettling, as if a malevolent force had seeped into the very fabric of the night. Fear, sharp and piercing, echoed through the threads of the dreamscape, weaving a tapestry of dread that was impossible to ignore. A stark contrast to the usual symphony of hopes and aspirations, these dreams were a cacophony of despair and foreboding.
My heart pounded in my chest, each beat a reminder of the fear that gripped me. It was as if the very essence of the night had come alive, whispering threats in the darkness. I had never encountered anything like this before. The dreams felt alive, sentient, as if they were reaching out to me, trying to pull me into their cold embrace. The dreams felt heavy, suffocating, pressing down on me like a weight I couldn't escape. It was as if a dark cloud had descended upon the once vibrant tapestry of Reverie's collective subconscious. The once colorful and lively dreams were now shrouded in dark hues, ominous and foreboding. It was a transformation that left me feeling helpless and afraid.
A sense of dread washed over her, a premonition that something terrible was about to unfold. Anya stood at the edge of the village, her eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of what was to come. Dark clouds gathered in the sky, swirling and churning as if heralding an impending storm. The air was thick with tension, and Anya could feel the weight of it pressing down on her. That night, sleep evaded her. She lay in bed, her mind racing with thoughts of the dark dreams and the ominous feeling that had settled over the village. She tossed and turned in her bed, unable to find any comfort or solace. The echoes of fear and despair clung to the edges of her awareness, refusing to let her rest. Haunted by the echoes of fear and despair that clung to the edges of her awareness, Anya felt as if she was being watched by unseen eyes, shadowy figures lurking just beyond her vision. The wind howled outside her window, its mournful cries seeming to confirm her worst fears. It was as if the very elements were conspiring against her, amplifying her sense of unease, its mournful cries seeming to confirm her worst fears. Something was amiss. A shadow had fallen upon Reverie, and Anya couldn't shake the feeling that she was somehow at the center of it. A shadow had fallen upon Reverie, casting a pall over the village and its inhabitants. The once lively and cheerful place was now shrouded in darkness and fear. Anya couldn't shake the feeling that she was somehow at the center of it. She felt a connection to the darkness, as if it was calling out to her, drawing her in. As dawn broke, casting long, eerie shadows across the village, the sense of foreboding did not dissipate. Instead, it seemed to grow stronger, as if the light of day was powerless against the encroaching darkness. A stranger rode into Reverie, his arrival heralded by an unnatural stillness. The village seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what was to come. His arrival was heralded by an unnatural stillness, as if the very air held its breath. The villagers watched in silence, their eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and fear. As if the very air held its breath, the atmosphere was thick with tension. The stranger's presence was like a dark cloud, casting a shadow over everything it touched. He was tall and imposing, his dark clothing blending with the shadows. His presence was commanding, and it was clear that he was no ordinary visitor. With piercing blue eyes that seemed to bore into Anya's soul, he looked at her with an intensity that made her shiver. It was as if he could see into the depths of her being, uncovering her deepest fears. His lips curled into a humorless smile, a smile that held no warmth or kindness. It was a smile that spoke of hidden dangers and unspoken threats. Sending a shiver down her spine, Anya felt a wave of fear wash over her. This was no ordinary visitor. This was someone or something that brought with it a sense of impending doom. This was no ordinary visitor. This was the harbinger of darkness, the source of the fear that had seeped into her village's dreams. This was the harbinger of darkness, the one who had brought the shadow that now loomed over Reverie. The villagers could feel it, a sense of foreboding that hung in the air, the source of the fear that had seeped into her village's dreams. Anya knew that this was just the beginning, and that the true darkness was yet to come. The stranger introduced himself as Morpheus, a name that seemed to hang in the air like a whispered threat. His voice was deep and resonant, carrying an unsettling authority that made the villagers shiver. The very mention of his name seemed to cast a shadow over the bright, serene landscape of reverie. He too possessed the gift of dream weaving, but his power felt different from Anya's. While Anya's abilities brought comfort and joy, weaving dreams that nurtured the soul, Morpheus's power was a stark contrast. His dreams were laced with manipulation, designed to control and dominate. Where hers was warm and life-giving, his was cold and manipulative. Anya's dreams were like a gentle summer breeze, bringing peace and tranquility, while Morpheus's were like a chilling winter storm, harsh and unyielding. The difference between them was as stark as day and night, light and shadow. His presence in reverie felt like a violation, a dark stain on the fabric of their peaceful existence. The villagers, who had always known harmony and joy, now felt a creeping dread. It was as if the very essence of their world was being tainted by his malevolent aura.
I have come to claim reverie as my own, to bend its inhabitants to my will. His voice was filled with a chilling certainty, leaving no room for doubt. The villagers could feel the weight of his words, the threat they carried. Their dreams, their hopes, their fears are tools to be exploited, sources of power to be harnessed for my own sinister purposes. Morpheus's eyes gleamed with a dark ambition, and the villagers could see the twisted pleasure he took in their fear.
He offered Anya a choice: join him, rule by his side, or watch as he destroyed everything she held dear. The ultimatum hung in the air, heavy and oppressive. Anya could feel the weight of the decision pressing down on her, but she knew she couldn't give in to his demands.
Reverie is not yours to claim. Her voice was steady, filled with a quiet determination. She stood tall, her eyes blazing with defiance. We will not be your puppets. The villagers, inspired by her courage, began to murmur in agreement. They had lived in peace for too long to let it be taken away without a fight. I will not let you take what is ours. Anya's voice rang out, clear and strong. She was not just speaking for herself, but for every soul in reverie. Her words were a rallying cry, a declaration of their collective will to resist.
Her defiance, though laced with fear, sparked a flicker of hope in the eyes of the villagers who had gathered, drawn by the palpable tension in the air. They could see the strength in Anya, and it gave them the courage to stand up against the darkness. Anya was their protector, their champion. She had always been there for them, weaving dreams that brought comfort and joy. Now she stood as their shield against the encroaching darkness. And as she stood before Morpheus, her small frame radiating an unexpected strength, they knew that the fate of their village, their very dreams, rested on her shoulders. The villagers watched with bated breath, their hopes pinned on Anya's unwavering resolve. The battle for reverie had begun, and they were ready to fight for their dreams.